Hey guys, so today I have swatches of 6 new Floss Gloss polishes. Well, they're new to me. These came from livelovepolish.com. I will link them down below. Like I said, they just sent me 6 polishes that I haven't reviewed yet to swatch for you guys. So I will get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Neon Nacho, and this is a neon orange. It's not a very dark reddish orange. It's more of a yellow orange, like nacho cheese or like Cheeto cheese. I did also want to remind people, if you guys haven't seen my last Floss Gloss review, these do have smaller bottles. The average nail polish size is about ½ an ounce, and these are 0.18 ounces, so they are a little bit smaller than a standard polish. So I am layering this one over OPI's Alpine Snow. When I did my swatch pictures, I tried it on its own and over white, and I wasn't able to get it opaque on its own in 3 coats, so I did choose to do this one over white. So here's 1 coat of Neon Nacho. This one is still a little bit streaky on the first coat. You can see some spots where it's on a little bit thicker than it is in others, so it is going to need a second coat to even it out. Once this one is layered over white, it is very true to color though. This is a little bit thin, just like most neon formulas are. So there is 1 coat of Neon Nacho. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here's 2 coats of Neon Nacho. This one gets much darker and it evens out on 2 coats over the white. And like I said before, I wasn't able to get this completely opaque on its own. I still had a very visible nail line at 3 coats, so I think this one would work best over white. I'm having to kind of dip back into the bottle after I do about half of the nail. And I think because this is a thinner formula, I'm not getting as much on my brush, and the previous coats are kind of grabbing onto it too. This is a neon, so it does dry matte, and it also dries fairly fast. So there is 2 coats of Neon Nacho. The next polish is called Lemone, I think. It's a bright kind of yellowy green. This is kind of what I describe as like a new growth grass kind of green when it's just coming up out of the ground, and it's still a lot lighter in color. That's kind of what I see when I see these yellowy greens. So here's 1 coat of Lemone. This one is a bit sheer and streaky on the first coat, so it is going to need 3. I got 3 when I did my swatch pictures. I think this one might be a good candidate for going over a white, but since it was possible for me to get it opaque on its own, that's what I wanted to do. This also has a thinner formula, which again makes me think that it would go well over white because it feels like a true kind of needs a white base neon. So there is 1 coat of Lemone. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here's 2 coats of Lemone. It's still a bit streaky and patchy after 2 coats, and I am doing kind of a thicker second coat because this does dry matte, so it dries fairly fast. So I'm going to try to do thicker coats to make sure that it covers completely in 3. Because when I did my pictures, it was just barely covered. This has, again, a thinner formula, just like Neon Nacho, but it's still pretty easy to spread out. I don't have to re-dip my brush in this one. So there is 2 coats of Lemone. So here is 3 coats of Lemone. This time I am doing a very thick third coat, and I'm still having some issues with patches and streaks, so I think this is another one that would be best over white. Again, the formula is easy to spread out. I think over white you would probably have to dip into the bottle a little bit more like I did with Neon Nacho, because I think the white would be grabbing onto the polish. So there is 3 coats of Lemone. The next polish is called 95% Angel, and this is a periwinkle blue cream. So here is 1 coat of 95% Angel. This one is a bit sheer and streaky on the first coat, so it is going to need at least 1 more. The formula on this one is good. It's really smooth. It's easy to apply. It's a little bit on the thin side, but it's not too thin. So there is 1 coat of 95% Angel. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of 95% Angel. This one almost covers completely in 2 coats. It's still a little bit streaky and has a couple like lighter spots. So there is 2 coats of 95% Angel. So here is 3 coats of 95% Angel. This one covers completely in 3 coats. If you look really, really closely at this one, it almost has this kind of TV static look to it where there are very, very small particles that are a little bit darker. It's very, very hard to see, and you really have to be looking for it, but it is there. So there is 3 coats of 95% Angel. The next polish is a medium red, and this is called Gangsta Boo. So here is 1 coat of Gangsta Boo. This one covers pretty well on the first coat. I can still see my nail line. It's not streaky at all. It covers very, very evenly. It just has more of a jelly finish, so it's a little bit sheer. The formula on this one is really, really good. This is the easiest and smoothest one, I think, of the 6 that I have. So there is 1 coat of Gangsta Boo. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Gangsta Boo. The color gets a little bit deeper on 2 coats. There wasn't any streakiness to even out, but I can still see my nail line a little bit, so I think I'm going to do 3. Again, this has a fantastic formula. I think this is opaque enough. I mean, it is a jelly. It's opaque enough to wear on its own in probably 3 coats, but I think it would look really good for a jelly sandwich too. So there is 2 coats of Gangsta Boo. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 3rd coat. So here's 3 coats of Gangsta Boo. So this actually even gets a little bit deeper on 3 coats, or at least it looks like that to me. I can still see the nail line a little bit if I really look for it, but it's not noticeable. It's not something you would know is there unless you were looking for it. Again, this has a fantastic formula, super easy to apply. So there is 3 coats of Gangsta Boo. The next polish is called Baby Baby, and this is a very, very light baby pink. So here is 1 coat of Baby Baby. This one is a bit streaky on the first coat, and it's a bit chalky as well, so it is going to need at least 1 more. When I say chalky, I just mean that it leaves ridges. So there is 1 coat of Baby Baby. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 2nd coat. So here is 2 coats of Baby Baby. It's showing up quite a bit more white on camera than it is in person. It definitely has a lot more pink to it. It's still a bit streaky and uneven on the 2nd coat. The formula is fairly easy to apply. I do have to dip back into the bottle though to cover completely because I think the polish just sticks to itself, and again I think that kind of goes along with it being a little bit chalky. So there is 2 coats of Baby Baby. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 3rd coat. So here is 3 coats of Baby Baby. This one covers completely in 3 coats. There was just a very minor bit of streaking and unevenness. I think if you did really careful coats, you might be able to get away with 2. This polish dried really fast, and that's kind of what I've come to expect from Floss Gloss polishes. All the polishes that I have from them have dried really fast. So there is 3 coats of Baby Baby. This one does dry a little bit matte too, so if you want it glossy, you will want a top coat. And the last polish is called Black Holy, and this is just a black cream. So here is 1 coat of Black Holy. This one is nearly opaque in 1 coat. It is very close to a 1-coater, but I can still see some spots that are lighter than others where the polish is not quite even. So I'm going to do a 2nd coat for this one, but I think if you were using this as a base for nail art or for glitter or anything like that, you wouldn't need a 2nd coat, because anything you put over this would hide those small light spots. So there is 1 coat of Black Holy. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 2nd coat. So here's 2 coats of Black Holy. This one obviously covers completely in 2 coats because it was nearly opaque in 1. This has a fantastic formula too. It's very similar to Gangsta Boo, where it was really easy to spread out and apply. It also dried really fast as well. So there is 2 coats of Black Holy. So my favorite for this group, I guess, is 95% Angel. It's a really beautiful periwinkly baby blue. You guys know I like my blues, and again, this one really got me. I just always tend to gravitate towards these kind of colors, so I really like that one. So those are my Floss Gloss swatches. Again, those came from livelovepolish.com, who I will link down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.